Hey everyone, Mr. Armitage here in another quick video of working through Part B problems of the Unit 4 Practice Test 2 for 2021 fall. Okay, 3B says solve the following, or solve the polynomial by first factoring out a GCF, so the greatest common factor of all of the terms. So we look at our polynomial here. Actually, we just want to look at each term individually. So we have x to the third plus 12x squared plus 20x. And if we look at each term here, what do they have in common? Well, there's a 1, okay, but 1 isn't really interesting because everything can have a 1. Okay, there's no other number. Okay, here we have a 20 and a 12, but then this is technically a little 1 coefficient, so we can't factor out any numbers. So all we're left with is x. Okay, we have one x there, which means that we can only factor out one of these x's out of every term here. So we're left with x times, now we have x to the second plus 12x plus 20. Remember when I said that we are solving, which means at this point, we can set this equal to 0. And just like in the previous video, we know that this could be 0 because it doesn't matter what this would be. And then the entire thing would be 0 because this would be multiplied by this 0 here. Or this could be 0. And it doesn't matter what this x by itself would be because it would be multiplied by the 0 from this, and the whole thing would be 0. So if we look at this plane x and set that equal to 0, there's really no solving to do there. We already have one of our solutions. Okay, but we're still left with this. X squared plus 12x plus 20, and it equals 0. Now we need to factor this, and this is a quadratic, so we've done this before. What numbers will multiply? So what two numbers will multiply to give us a positive 20 and add to positive 12? Okay. And I think you should be able to see that 2 times 10, positive 2 and positive 10 will give us positive 20, and positive 2 plus a positive 10 will give us 12, positive 12. So what we have here is, already on that, it's a pen, x squared plus 2x plus 10x plus 20 equals 0. Okay, now we can factor some stuff out just like we did before. These are just some extra steps. You'll actually see that we could have skipped these ones here. Okay. So here, see that the only common thing between these two is the x. So then we'll have x times x plus 2. And between these two here, the 10x plus 20, we can factor out a 10. So plus 10. And that will leave us also with an x plus 2. Because x times 10 is 10x, and 2 times 10 is 20. So that looks good. Now notice that these are in common for both terms here. So we're left with x plus 2 from both of these terms and x plus 10 from what's left over, which were the initial numbers that we had anyway. So we could have skipped these 2 steps and just jumped straight to here, knowing positive 2 and positive 10 will multiply to give us 20 and add to give us 12. But that's only because there was no coefficient in front. Once again, we do the same thing as before. This could be 0, or this could be 0. Because either one, when it's 0, will get multiplied by the other thing and still be 0. So we have x plus 2 equals 0, and x plus 10 equals 0. Now this is just a one-step equation, so if you're in Algebra 2, this should be totally fine. X equals negative 2, and x equals negative 10. And there are our other 2 solutions. So here we have 3 solutions total. Here we have the x equals 0 that we got right at the beginning. We got x equals negative 2 and x equals negative 10.